We're going to start with the state of the economy. The Federal Reserve is expected to announce it will raise interest rates for the third consecutive time tomorrow in an effort to fight surging inflation. So for more on what this means, let's bring in ABC News business reporter Alexis Christoforous. Alexis, the Fed just keeps jacking up that rate, and it doesn't seem really to do much to slow down inflation. Is that accurate? And what should we be watching for from the Fed then?
Yeah, unfortunately, Terry, that's very accurate. You know, we've had 4 interest rate hikes from the Federal Reserve so far this year. We're probably looking at our 5th tomorrow. And most economists are expecting a 0.75% rise in interest rates. It would be the 3rd in a row that it would be that aggressive here, Terry. And there is a small group out there who thinks we could even see interest rates rise by a full percentage point tomorrow. Despite all these rate increases, inflation is still really not coming down by much. Yes, we had an 11% drop in gas prices since the high we saw back in June, but prices for just about everything else, including food and rent, continuing to go up. So it's really not what the Federal Reserve does so much tomorrow, but what they say they're going to do in the future. Investors want to see a little light at the end of the tunnel here, so they're going to be looking for 2 things. How much further will interest rates rise, and how long will they stay there?
And what does this mean for consumers who are already grappling with higher prices, and now they got credit cards or something like that, and they're just getting crushed?
Exactly. And the long and short of it is you're going to see it be more expensive to borrow money. We already have credit card rates at their highest since 1996, mortgage rates their highest since 2008, and auto loan interest rates now their highest since 2012. All of those rates are expected to move higher as the Fed continues to try and slow the economy, to choke off demand and bring inflation down. And, you know, they've said they're going to do whatever it takes to get us there. They want inflation back down to 2%. To give you an idea, the last reading on inflation was 8.3%, so we have got a ways to go.
A long ways to go, and it does seem as if the economy is in an unusual position right now. This rampaging inflation, everybody's feeling it. On the other side, as President Biden claims, look, there are other things working well, that the job market is healthy, wages are rising, although not as fast as inflation. How do you balance that? Have we seen an economy like this before? Are we just waiting for the Fed's rate hikes to take effect and really tank this economy?
It is a waiting game, right? How much longer will it take for these Fed rate hikes to sort of, you know, sprinkle throughout the economy and bring inflation down? But, you know, we're already seeing inflation at work in corporate America. Today alone, Gap came out, said it's going to cut 500 jobs because of declining sales. Most of those jobs are going to be in its corporate offices. Also today, we heard from Ford, still dealing with supply shortages. Ford says that high inflation now making the cost of its products and what it has to put into its cars more expensive. It also sounded a profit warning. And I think the big one here over the past few days, Terry, is coming from FedEx, the delivery company, really seen as a bellwether for the health of the economy. FedEx warning that profits are going to take a hit because package volume, delivery of packages, has slowed dramatically since we've come off the peak of the pandemic. And I think that really points to the fact that consumers are starting to pull back on their spending more on things like dining and travel, and less on things like clothing, for instance.
Trying to dial back some of the spending we could do with that in a lot of households. For the first time since 2008, however, looking at home prices, the price of a 30-year mortgage is above 6%. A lot of people paying a lot more than that. What does it mean for people who need to buy a home right now? Is it a good time?
You know, mortgage rates are high, and I spoke to one person over at Bankrate today, an economist there, who said you can expect mortgage rates to move even higher if the Fed continues with its aggressive interest rate hikes. We've got rates now above 6% for the first time since the height of the financial crisis back in 2008. So we have a bad combination here, Terry, of higher home prices together with higher mortgage rates, and it means that being able to afford a home out of reach for millions of Americans, especially for those first-time home buyers.
And Alexis, it has been tried in the past. I'm actually old enough to remember when it was. Price controls, one of the most widely discussed and controversial solutions for inflation, controlling the price. The government says you caps the price for certain goods. You can't charge more than we say. Does the government, do you think that the government thinks that is a viable solution right now, or is that just a bad idea out of the 1970s?
Well, I'm going to bet you weren't around for the first time we used it, and that was during World War II with President Franklin Roosevelt. He had to institute some cap on prices because the war had led to supply shortages, and that was making inflation run wild. And at that time, it actually helped. But you're right, 1971, we saw President Nixon do this. He did it till 1974. And a lot of folks said, you know what, it was pretty ineffective. The problem with price controls is it only limits inflation temporarily. It doesn't really tackle the root problems. And also, if you put some products on sale, have like a fire sale on, say, milk, because you cap the prices, people may stock up on that product and not on others, which we know can cause supply shortages, and we are all continuing to deal with supply shortages.
Yeah, it was a bad idea. I don't remember World War II, but I do remember the inflation of the 70s, and it is hard to get on top of and control that. No question about it. A real challenge for us.
Yeah.
Alexis, as always, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.